The Department of Player Safety gives Morgan Rielly 5 games for his cross check as the Leafs get their first win without him in the lineup. Hey everyone, welcome to Inside the Leafs. Rob Wong joined alongside by Toronto Sun Maple Leafs writers Lance Hornby and Terry Koshan. And guys, the hockey world was waiting on bated breath to see how many games Leafs defenseman Morgan Rielly would get for his cross check to the head of Ottawa's Ridly Greig on Saturday night. And in the end, it is 5 games. Terry, does the punishment fit the crime in this instance?
Well, I don't think it does because Morgan Rielly has never done this type of thing before, and I would bet that he will never do it again. I think that wasn't taken into consideration as much as the NHL probably should have done. But it's I guess the issue would be that these things are the decisions are inconsistent, and going into it, you could have argued to get a couple of games. One, I don't know that he would have got none. I mean, that would be a little much, but you know, 5 or 6. There was the speculation yesterday; it could have gone as high as 8 before it's finally announced as 5. I just think that with the inconsistency, we weren't sure what to expect, and I think 5, like I say, is a little high. This is a guy who 225 penalty minutes in 769 NHL games. And like I say, there's just absolutely no history of this. And I don't imagine that Morgan Rielly will have to visit the Department of Player Safety again, whether it's by Zoom or actually traveling to New York City if the weather is any better.
Well, you know what? The one thing we definitely is going to come out of this, Terry, is that Ridly Greig will never do this again. I predict. That's a. I mean, for all the grief he probably took behind closed doors from his own team and the fallout with this and the fact that everybody in the league is going to be looking for him for breaking the quote unquote the code is going to be a pretty good deterrent. That's a very small consolation for Morgan, who is going to have to cough up more than $200,000 in salary, miss some key games at a time when the Maple Leafs are on a good, have won a couple and really need to solidify a playoff spot. So there's that obviously unfortunate angle with that, even taking into account what is really a situation of injustice here from the league's alleged justice department. But you knew Riley was going to get something, and it's over. And I guess the interesting thing at the end, Terry and I were talking about this last night, is the Department of Player Safety said that was not a hockey play. Yet when everybody was asked, around the Leaf dressing room the other day, like Giordano and Tavares and the longest serving guys, they had never seen a play like Ridley had done at the end of a game. So there's certainly that to be taken into consideration.
Yeah, no surprise, like you said, guys, with what Riley got as far as a suspension, but the game's definitely the amount, anyways, a debate that continues to rage on. The Maple Leafs, of course, go figure, get a win without Riley and without Mitch Marner and John Tavares, who were out due to illness. The Leafs playing one of their best games of the season. Lance, what were your biggest takeaways from the win over St. Louis?
Well, certainly the Bobby McMahon hat trick. Who saw that coming? Certainly, but it's an interesting situation. It was like a road game for the Maple Leafs, where they had to keep things simple with, no having not not even having not lost line change, but half their lineup of stars gone. So that was very good defensively. You had everybody pitching in: McMahon, Holmberg, Noah Gregor on that line as well. Benoit Lagesson playing so well on defense. Ryan Reeves, I thought, had a pretty decent game. You had again yet another strong game from Ilya Samson, even though he didn't face a lot of shots. And Nick Robertson played pretty good as well. And that all goes back to when is Tyler Bertuzzi going to break out of his slump? But at least he had a pretty good feed to Robertson there. So you know what? It's a good healer for the Leafs. And for whatever reason, we were discussing this earlier. Why do they play so well when some of their stars are out? And why can't the stars, when they're in the lineup and there's a full 20 guys there, why can't they play that kind of tight defensive game? It's an ongoing mystery for the Leafs, but given the situation in the standings, they'll take the 2 points from last night.
Yeah, it's impressive. There's all there is to it. When it boils down to it, it might have been their best game of the season. I mean, just given who's out and the fact you limit St. Louis to 15 shots. And I thought it was kind of interesting. Sheldon Keefe let the Blues off the hook a bit last night after the game when he said, they didn't have their best. But I thought that was an interesting way of looking at it, I suppose. But you're still talking about a Blues team that was awfully hot had won 5 in a row on the road, and we're not giving up a heck of a lot. So impressive to me. Max Domi played over 18 minutes the first time he's done that as a Maple Leaf, so he had one of his busier games, and I just thought everybody brought it, and I think last year they were 14-2-1 without Rielly, certainly 12-2-1 when he didn't when he had the knee injury through November or so, but let's see what they can take forward now against the Flyers on Thursday and then the Ducks on Saturday. The Ducks are a bad hockey team. They should win that one going away, but we'll have to see. We'll get a better idea with Tavares and Marner how serious their illnesses are and how soon they'll be back in the lineup. But I just like the way they played start to finish last night, and certainly it was a bit of surprise and good on Bobby McMahon for really leading the way in that regard and coming up with his first NHL hat trick.
Yeah, and a quick note too about TJ Brody played pretty well too when he's obviously had his struggles, and again coming with Rielly out.
Yeah, definitely played one of his better games of the year. We'll see how the Leafs can fare with some easier games coming up before a tough sked out west. As always, leave your thoughts in the comments section below. For Lance Hornby and Terry Koshan, I'm Rob Wong. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time.